Okay, well, I have a really esteemed guest with me today, and I really wanted to bring my really good friend, Lynn Chang, PhD, with me into my blog. And as you all know, I'm Octavia Brooks, shamanic energy healer. And the reason I wanted to bring Lynn here is she has a talent for helping people really step firmly on their path of purpose. And with all of my shamanic skills, I can bring people inspiration and guides and motivation. However, this very precise piece that Lynn brings, I feel, is super complementary to what I'm doing. And that's why I really wanted to bring Lynn on the show. She is the founder of Career Zen, and she's the author of a 10-day career cleanse. And I want to have Lynn go into her background story. She's been doing the career thing for, what is it now, Lynn? At least 8 years, right?
Actually, more like 13, 14 years.
Oh my gosh. So see, here she is an example of somebody really on her life purpose and her life path. And I know it's meandered a little bit. Will you give us a little bit of background? Like, how did you get involved in this? Was it something that just fell out of the sky? Did you plan it? How did you become a career counselor?
Yeah, I absolutely love my job, and it's my honor to help people love their job too. And a lot of people will assume that, oh, you must have known you wanted to do this. You must have planned this out. And absolutely not. I had no clue that this is what I wanted to do. But I will tell you, each step of the way, I made my decisions based on what made me feel happy and alive and curious. That passion piece is really important to listen to. And then I would do the practical side, which is research, learn about it, talk to people, and determine if this is the right step for me and when is the right step for me. And I'll show you this picture in the background, the Eiffel Tower. That picture I took one very foggy, cold Christmas day many years ago. And my first thought when I showed up there was, oh, it's so foggy. I can't even see the tippy top of it. But, you know, I made it here. Might as well take a picture. I actually love this picture as a metaphor for our career path, for our destiny. And if you'll notice in the picture, the base of the Eiffel Tower is the biggest part of the picture, the clearest part of the picture. And that's the foundation of who we are. Your likes, your dislikes, what's important to you, your values, your personality, all the quirky things that make you unique, that is the foundation. And it's really important to get clear, objectively clear on who you are without judgment, just with compassion and understanding, this is who I am. And when you can have that clarity, then the next step becomes clear. Like the next step is based on who you are at that moment, with what you know at that moment, and you make that next step. When you're on that second rung of the Eiffel Tower, the fog will lift a little bit more, and then the third rung will appear. When you're on the third rung, the fog will lift a little bit more, and the fourth rung will appear. So each step of the way, it's unfolding into a more refined, defined path.
Wonderful.
That makes sense. And so a lot of us, when we're on a lower rung, will look up like, it's so foggy. I don't think the tippy top exists. And so a lot of fear sets in. The tippy top doesn't exist. So I'm just going to sit here until it's totally clear so I don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste money. I'm scared. And so that's what I teach, is that there's a natural unfolding that happens. And that
I think that would just in and of itself bring so much comfort. So many things that you just said I want to like call attention to again.
Okay.
One, to really know yourself and to give yourself permission to be in that joyful state, that that part of you that's loving and innocent. I think a lot of people are just, they don't even know how to accept that part of themselves. That's almost part of the foundational part of what you said, the Eiffel Tower. And then to not need to know how your life is going to end up and how what your whole life's worth of contribution is going to be right in this moment, because it takes so much, it puts so much pressure on the decisions to walk forward that it would be crushing, and you could just like stall out and like freeze up right then and there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So your destiny is laid out. right? And that's the reason we're born, is to have this adventure, to be on this journey, to not know everything, and to have it reveal itself over time.
Yeah, and that's also human nature to not have, like, we want to know, we want to know everything. We want it to be concrete and predictable and planned.
I know.
So, like, how do you incorporate, I know that you incorporate a lot of different techniques and backgrounds and some of your own heritage and Eastern philosophy. How do you bring comfort to this uncomfortable place of not knowing? How do you help people with, I think you use yoga, maybe some other spiritual techniques?
I do. My background is in counseling psychology. So I have a PhD in counseling psychology, classically Western trained, and I started at the University of Texas at Austin as a university career counselor and was trained by one of the most wonderful career counselors I know. So that gave me a really great foundation for understanding the world of work. How do we fit in? How do we decide and make choices and be clear on this path? So I did that for many years. And as I was working as a university career counselor, I personally delved into yoga. And that just opened up a whole other dimension to myself, which then trickled into my work. And so with yoga, I feel like it does a great job of helping us understand the nature of the mind, the connection between the mind and the heart and the spirit. It helps us understand what to do when we have fear, the nature of ego, the breath, how to stay present, how to be okay with the unknown. I find a lot of my clients have been stuck in a work and a job that's been unfulfilling simply because it's at least a known entity.
Yeah.
They don't like their jobs. They're miserable. They don't like the people they're working with. They don't like the hours. The salary was even that great, but it's something. It's
familiar. Yeah, it's familiar. It's a routine. It's something they know. Yeah. So taking a leap can be so scary for people out of that stuck place. So how do you help people out of that stuck place?
I will usually start a session with a little bit of breathing, a little bit of grounding, calling in Pachamama, Mother Earth's energy, Inti Tai Tai, Father Sky energy of possibilities and dreams. We might do some yoga, some just gentle breathing, stretching. Personally, I'm a big fan of restorative yoga. So I teach a lot of restorative yoga because really the answers are all within. And at the end of the day, I might work with a client for an hour or two going really, really, really in depth. And at the end of the day, they're like, oh, I think I kind of knew that deep down. Like, yeah, you did. I'm here to teach you to trust yourself. You know, there is an element of education in what I do. In school, we never learned all 500,000 different careers. So I have the pleasure of teaching them the map of how it's all laid out and how to, see where you belong in that. But then also just really trust yourself. And it's okay to take that leap of faith when it's the passion and the practical together. You've done your research, it feels right in your gut. Then it's time to take the leap. And it's so juicy good, when people do take that leap of faith and they make that change, then they'll contact me afterwards and said, all the things I was worried about, it didn't happen. I didn't have anything to worry about. It's better than I thought it was going to be. So that always warms my heart to hear.
Wow. So I love hearing how you support people in all these different ways. You support them in getting into their body and teaching them tools to work through the fears of making a big leap, of taking a big step. And I love everything you know. I mean, the counseling and psychological pieces must really help people handle the parts of their personality that are holding them back, and the maps, the career maps, just knowing. I mean, not everybody has exposure to the plethora of different kinds of paid work that can be done in this world. Yeah. I remember a long time ago in college, I took an interest assessment exam. I don't know why they call it an exam. It really helped clarify for me how I could relate my interests and my love to careers that were out there in the world. At that time, being 19, 20 years old, I had
Yeah.
no idea what the world had in it. So just
Yeah.
being able to say, things that I'm hearing you talk about seem to match this kind of thing. Or maybe you even have some of those types of
Yeah.
assessments to draw
Yeah, I
things out from
do.
people's insides,
Mhm.
things that they are secretive about and private about, that they don't even want to let themselves know, but they'll tell a test, they'll like bring it out in these certain ways, or maybe you draw it out of them too, to help them see clearly and to reflect back to them their heart's desire and their talents and their internal motivations and dreams, because there's so much about this world and our childhood development that's kind of squashes that. I like to teach about self-expression, and it gets squished down. So I would imagine that's probably a big piece of what you do to help people find their life purpose is what is that inside. Do you want to share more about your methodology?
Yeah, around the life purpose piece, it's fascinating because a lot of people believe that they should know by now. It could be a 20-year-old or a 60-year-old. I should know by now. And it's not about that. It's not about you going into a place and finding it. Like, oh, here it is in my closet. You don't find it. Actually, it finds you. It finds you. Here are some clues. And this is how you know when you're on your right path. It's something that you do for other people so easily, but you have a hard time doing it for yourself. Does that make sense?
I've got a few of those, yes.
Yeah. Right. So everything is energy. Everything's a cycle of giving and receiving. And you were born with this talent, this purpose, this drive to do something very unique, remarkable, that is helping other people, that is elucidating. It's just incredible. And when you give it to other people so easily, like, oh, yeah, anyone can do that. And people are like, no, I really appreciate that. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? That's nothing. Really, it's something. It's a gift. So start recognizing when people are complimenting you, when people are asking for your help, and you think like, well, what's the big deal? It's a big deal. So start noticing that. And then after you notice it, see if you can give that to yourself. Because that's what that blockage of not appreciating it as your gift, and then that blockage of not receiving it back for yourself, is what's blocking you not knowing and discovering your life purpose.
Oh.
Right? So when you can give it and receive it, boom, that's when all the stars align, and that's when things really, really take off. There's no stalling, the universe just aligns everything for you. Magical encounters and opportunities come your way. So that's a big clue right there. And that's when I'm working with people, listening to how they're talking about themselves, what they do for each other, for themselves. I'm like, where's the blockage? Where is the misalignment or not acknowledging the uniqueness and specialness?
Wow. So that is something that people watching this video blog can do for themselves. So let's break it down step by step for people, how they would do this. So first they think about, what is it that I love to do for other people? Would you say it in your own words, Lynn, like the step-by-step process for people?
It would be, what do I naturally do for others that I get appreciation for, thanked for all the time, that I don't think is actually a big deal? I once worked with a PhD math student at the university, and he was very, just talking and very flippant. He said, I like to create these complex math problems in my head that are unsolvable, and I might spend like 3 weeks thinking about it, but everyone does that. No, I don't think so. I don't do that. I don't know anyone. Right? So you have been you the moment you were born. So it's hard for you to see what makes you unique. Getting feedback from other people, asking for friends' objective opinions can be useful. Loved ones' objective opinions, coworkers, friends. And this is why a professional counselor, career counselor, can be useful sometimes, because it's totally unbiased. They don't know you. They're just getting to know you, and they can tell you, just reflect it all back to you. Whereas your friends have known you for a long time, your family has like a family story with you. But if they can be objective, that's really helpful. But I think the more kind of feedback you can get, the more reflection you can do. I have a really fantastic book that I learned a lot from. It's by Dick Richards. It's called Is Your Genius at Work? And this is where a lot of techniques are, I learned from this book on how to find your life purpose. So it's a fantastic read if your viewers are interested.
So once you get that feedback from your friends and family about, here's, you're always helping me out like this. And then the next step is to like turn the tables, and why am I not doing that for myself? And then you're saying something like, once you do that for yourself, some circuits get wired up.
Yes, yes. It's electricity, it's energy. It all comes full circle. Then the ball really gets rolling.
Wow. Well, so I'm going to segue a little bit to your fantastic book that you have. And so if somebody's in one of those toxic jobs that you just mentioned, and I had one, and I did everything I could to make the job work for myself. And I like brought flower essence cards to work, and I did all these different things. And I'm not sure I would ever have been totally successful in that job. However, it sounds like you've got a methodology where people who are in jobs, well, I just want to hear you talk more about whether you'd recommend people just throw away and jump ship off of their current job situation if they find out that the thing that they love to do is completely different than what they're already doing. Do you recommend that people just like throw that one out and, come what may, to the next step? Or do you transition people? Talk a little bit about what your recommendations are when people are kind of in a stuck place in a current job.
It is a fantastic question with a complex answer, because everyone's in a different scenario.
And that's why you wrote a book, right? Because you can't just say it in 5 minutes. Come on, Lynn.
It is complex, right? Some people are in incredibly toxic situations where physically they are getting sicker and sicker. And if they are in a financial place, maybe savings, 3 to 6 months of savings in their bank, if they can and they want to, they feel ready to let go of their job and reset, detox, go on a retreat, journey inward, heal.
Yeah.
I think that is optimal in that scenario. Not everyone has that ability to do so.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote my book, is because in the end, it all begins from inside. It's all about inside. Joy is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Peace is a choice.
They are.
And we forget that. We get into this like stressed mode,
work,
tunnel, just get it done.
Yeah.
And I found myself, I caught myself several times in the afternoon, like right before work would be done. My work day would be done, like from 4:30 or so. If my day ends at 5. I would actually get up, make a cup of tea, and then come back to my office and think, why am I working so hard to get everything done? It's not due for 2 weeks. I'm trying to get it done like it's done. It's due at 5 o'clock. And so I realized that's the nature of our brains. It will do that. It will just, lock in on something like it has to be done. It has to be done. We get very all or nothing about it.
Oh yeah. So goal oriented. I'm goal oriented to a fault. I will work myself to the bone, chasing after a goal, and forget all about happy or sad or, anything else. It's just like goal, and to unravel so many of those habits.
So what I did was realize, wow, work is, becoming really stressful. And I never let anyone or anything steal my joy. That was my promise to myself.
You're great.
So I said, what can I do? What can I do? I love yoga. Let me bring in my yoga techniques and the principles of yoga. I love psychology and positive psychology. Let me bring in those techniques. There's so much cool new discoveries with neuroscience, which kind of ties in those elements. So I brought in neuroscience into it, and I would find short, easy, fun little meditations to do. And it worked. Within a week or two of doing these techniques consistently at work, and I'm not talking hours, I'm just talking minutes here and there, little breaks, things began to shift because I was changing on the inside. My reality around me started changing. I saw more lightness, more fun, more harmony, more zen. And people would come to me and come to my office and say, what are you doing? Why are you always so happy?
Can I have some of the Kool-Aid you're drinking?
Yeah. Like, what's your secret? I want to have more Lynn time. I would just go around campus seeing my friends like, I need to spend more time with you. What are you doing that's different? So that's why I wrote the book. The 10-Day Career Cleanse.
Oh, great.
At work. Yeah, it's 21 techniques put in 10 days. And there's cute little panda cartoons. They're wonderful quotes. I'm a nut for quotes. I love quotes. A lot of inspiring quotes. You'll see yoga in there.
Oh, it looks so creative with all the pictures and not everything's in a box. Really great graphic design. Ooh, I love it.
Yes, Ryan.
And it also doesn't look like it's a 10-pound book either.
No, it's a fun little workbook, and actually I recommend people leave it at work. So buy it and then use it at work and leave it at work, because learning specialists will tell you that where you learn something, you'll be able to retrieve it more easily.
Okay, right.
Does that make sense? So a lot of our wellness, self-care, self-help books are at home. So it improves our home life. So this is a book to leave at work to improve your work life. And you'll find energetically your workspace, your office, your station, wherever you work, will begin to shift energetically in a positive direction. So when you have that positivity surrounding you, you feel comforted, you feel secure, and you get this clarity of what my next step needs. What can I do to make my situation better? It could be just a 2-degree shift. You don't have to necessarily change jobs or maybe just add a different component to it. Or it could be a total 180. You know, everyone's different. I talk to them about their scenario. But then you get the clarity and the courage to make that switch, to make that shift.
I think there's so much you can do. I once I did something similar when I was in my toxic job, and I would think of my cubicle as kind of like my own little domain, my own little temple.
That's right.
And I would make it inviting. I wanted to make it inviting to myself so that it would be a nice place. So I put beautiful pictures on the cube walls. And then when people came by, they felt comfortable too. I was in a job where it was really important for me to be inviting because I had to do a lot of influence management. Didn't have any direct reports, so I needed to be likable to people in order to get my job done. And another thing that occurs to me is when you become the person that people want to be around, more opportunities come to you. Like it's the talking at the water cooler. God, I heard about this job that's starting to open up over here. And also when we're not in that stress mindset all the time, I just think pure blood flow. I mean, this is so scientifically proven. When we're in stress mode, we just don't even have blood flow. And we're cut off from huge resources of creativity, inspiration, thinking clearly. You know, we're just really constricted and heads down. So anything we can do to breathe more, open ourselves up more, express ourselves, of course, within the professional constraints of where we're working. We may even have a conversation with our boss or another manager about something that would be very interesting to us. And if we're that really likable person, people like to help likable people. You'll find mentors and people who foster you in the workplace and open doors for you never even thought possible. And perhaps your job could just change around you into something that you really, really like.
Absolutely. That is key, Octavia. That's key to be likable. Because it's not the person with the most qualification who gets the job or the most degrees, the most experience, the most skills. It's the most likable person who gets the job. And a lot of times the people I see, they are so drained and they'll tell me, I should have left this job 18 years ago. I should have left 18 years ago. I should have left this job. So by the time I see them, their soul is so depleted and crushed. And I tell them, you have to be likable to get a new job. And at this stage, it's hard to feel likable. They're like, I know, I get it. I just hole myself up in my apartment and I don't leave the home and I don't go out. I don't talk to people.
Ooh.
So again, this is why the book is there. Like, start from within and every day build upon your vibration and raise your vibration and choose more joy, choose more happiness. One of my clients in his 50s was going through a divorce. And he said, you know what, since I'm going through this life change, I'm going to do something for myself. I've always regretted not finishing up my university degree, my undergrad degree. So by the time I saw him, he had enrolled in school to finish up his degree. And he was feeling so proud of himself, like, yes, I'm doing this for me. And I was very happy for him. We were talking about majors and careers. And then he said, Lynn, the strangest thing happened. You know, I joined a gym. I'm very into fitness and health and fitness. And I was throwing the medicine ball with somebody. And within 10 minutes, I got a job offer. Just that. And I was surprised. I was just, you know, shooting the breeze. But I said, thank you so much. I'm flattered, but I'm not looking for a job. I actually quit my job to focus on my school. That's most important to me right now. And you know what happened? The guy said, I want you even more now. And he upped the offer. Yes.
Because these are who we want to work with.
Yeah, when you are happy
and a dried up person, you want to work with somebody who's enlivening and innovative and who's connected to their creativity and connected to their essence. That's who we want to be around.
Yes.
Well, exactly. I have so much admiration for your work, Lynn. I know that what you're doing, you know, that ripple effect that people talk about, you drop a pebble in the pool and it ripples out. Here you are working with all these different individuals and up-leveling their vibration wherever they are, whether they're in the workplace or whether they're stepping out into an entrepreneurial track. Your ripple effect is profound because of all the people you touch, all the people they touch. They're not, once you get onto this joyfulness and expressiveness and likability, you can't get off that train. So once you set people on the train of expressing their true nature, they will, that's going to be infectious to everyone else who's around them. So I really appreciate your careers in keeping people on track with creating more joy and happiness in the world. And so I want to wrap up by asking you, how do people work with you, and what would you like to offer the viewers today?
I work with people from all walks of life and all stages of the career development. And if they go to my website, career-zen.com, they can sign up for a free 20-minute phone consultation just to see, like, here's my scenario. What advice do you have for me? I'm happy to share my perspective and get some advice. And it feels like it's a good connection. You want to work together. We can work, if you're local here in Austin, we can work locally. I work remotely using video like Zoom, like this one. And then also if they go to my website, they can request a free sample of the book, the 10-Day Career Cleanse.
So that's generous.
That I can offer. And just to see if you do like my approach, like the philosophy. And really at the end of the day, it's an invitation for you to choose joy. My purpose is to start a revolution of happy people at work.
Yay!
So whatever you need to do to be happy, please do that.
I don't know how anyone could resist you, Lynn. So that is career-zen.com to get a free sample of her book and also to spend 20 minutes with this amazing, blessed person who has such a vast toolkit of resources to share with people to trigger your joy and connect your joy with your purpose in life so you can be the ripple in the pond to everyone around you. Lynn, I want to thank you so much for this time together today. It has been such a joy and a pleasure. And I look forward to more connecting in the future. And I feel so aligned with what you're doing, and I'm really glad for your work in the world.
It's been my honor. I love you, Octavia.
Oh, thank you. All right.